Yeah, okay. Then let's get slowly started. Let me share my screen. So the items from last meeting. So I think there were no real follow-ups. Supported DBs. This pull request is merged. C of Linux FS5. Well, there's nothing to do right now. I asked David Sabetti again if he still had problems with the recompile package deployment, but there was no answer. So yeah, guess there is nothing to do for us. FIPS validation, I'll come to that in a moment. There was one interesting problem on our concourse, or actually we had two problems with our ARDWG concourse. So one problem was that the latest CredHub image 2.12.12.60 was broken. And then the CredHub pod keeps crashing and you get orange resources in the concourse UI. And after some asking around, Sylvester was involved. We found out that this image is really broken. You don't see anything helpful in the logs. And so we reverted the CredHub image back to 2.12.59 and then everything worked again. Hi, Dave. Just talking about our concourse problems we had this week. So this should then be fixed in the up runtime interfaces infrastructure project upstream, and then we should update our concourse with that when it's available. Next problem was that the CredHub root CA has expired. So just one day later, everything broke again. But luckily, there was a very good documentation how to renew the certificate. So you have to work with this secret gen controller and let it renew the certificate, and then it's valid for one more year. And then everything is fine again. So I've set a reminder for next year so that we can, that there are hopefully no interruptions. AFTAB just had similar problems on one of our concourses at SAP. So this is the this would be the solution when the certificate expires, and the other one is the broken CredHub image. Okay, then FIPS validation. So good news, validation is today. Just a few hours ago, it turned green for the very first time. So here, this is now really green. We have full success. All CATS tests that are active passed. And there was a second run with which was triggered by the latest stem cell. And here we also just have one failure. So that means all cloud controller changes are working correctly.
Does that mean it's time to take the try block out so that we actually see failures?
Yes, indeed, I will do this. I will take out the try block. It's already removed from the smoke test, so we can also remove it now from the CATS job, and then we should see failures. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's indeed very nice. However, there was a little bit of work hidden. We had not discussed the load balancer stuff in the last meeting, right?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, then we only discussed it internally at SAP. So there was one bigger challenge with our load balancer setup. So by default with Bosch bootloader, you get this classic load balancer
Hmm.
for the incoming HTTPS traffic. So this load balancer does the TLS termination, then forwards to the Go routers. And it turned out that from a FIPS compliant stem cell, you cannot establish a TLS connection to this classic load balancer because it does not support a certain security policy. So that is when, for example, when one of the cloud controllers wants to talk to a Cloud Foundry app running in the same deployment, for example, this could be a service broker, then you get a one-line OpenSSL exception telling you basically nothing.
Hmm.
And after longer investigation, we found out that the server which terminates TLS has to support a special security policy that is this one here,
Mm.
TLB security policy TLS 1.3 with this FIPS version variant. And then TLS terminations work again. So the problem was that the classic load balancer does not support these security policies. So we had to switch to an application load balancer. And it was a bit tricky to get this set up with Bubble. So manually clicking this together, that worked quite fast, but
Hmm.
implementing everything in Bubble was quite tricky. There were some planned patches, but it turned out they were completely outdated and for old Terraform versions. Um, so after some try and error, I came to this solution. So this would be the new Terraform file in our Snape environment, which sets up the application load balancer.
Hmm.
So this is the actual load balancer.
Nonetheless.
Um, it has listeners on port 443 and 4443 with the required FIPS policy. One more listener for HTTP. That one is easy. And the listeners have each a target group just for port 80. So this is where the decrypted HTTPS traffic is forwarded to the Go router on port 80. And here we have the Go router health check. And then you need to adapt the security groups a little bit. And this gives you a working setup.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember looking at this years ago when I used to work on Bubble. Um, and I think that's where those old plan patches came from. Was probably like 5 years ago. Uh,
Exactly. They are 5 years old and were
yeah.
quite likely written for Terraform 0.11.
Hmm.
So I had to make quite a number of changes to get that working. So
Right.
here's a pull request. I'll post it later in our channel. So if whoever likes can do a review, maybe I'll join the next foundation infrastructure meeting to discuss that. Um, so that works fine. There's just one problem that it's not so easy to remove the classic load balancer.
Mm.
So right now we have this unused load balancer. it's not possible with Terraform override files to remove a resource. Yeah. And you cannot override the classic load balancer resource because it's of a different type. That was probably possible with an older Terraform version, but now the semantics of override has changed a little bit. So if anyone finds a good solution, I played around with setting the counter of the resource to 0, but then you need to introduce indexes on different places. So I have not found a good solution. Now we have an unused classic load balancer. And here in this override, the Route 53 CNAME record now points to the new application load balancer instead of the classic load balancer, and that's why the traffic goes to the new LB. Yeah, good. So it works. Also note here in the Bosch Cloud config, you have to set an to the LB target groups value for the Go router so that they are connected. And then everything works.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Okay, there's another run. Another 2 runs are coming, so we can check tomorrow what the result is. But yeah, so I would say there is not much more for us to do. I can double check if there's an additional cats suite that could be activated so that we really do not miss anything. But otherwise, we could say we are FIPS compliant. Yeah. Any questions, comments?
No, I think great success. The only thing is before we advertise it too much, we have to wait 2 more major version updates so that all the configuration changes could be done in Carpi and Diego, that FIPS is supported out of the box. So for now, it's only with the experimental ops file. And you cannot update an existing landscape to this FIPS compliance thingy yet. It will come, but it requires more time.
This is true. We currently apply this this ops file, which disables the legacy MD5 buildpack path enable flag. This is true, and this would also prevent a seamless upgrade, yes.
But we would get rid of this completely, right? So we don't need an ops file for FIPS. The only thing you have to do is to use the correct stem cell. Or are there additional modifications needed?
For what now exactly? For the upgrade or?
No, in the long run, let's say we would have these 2 major versions and Carpi and Cloud Controller would have done all the nice upgrades. Then we can remove this FIPS compliance ops file completely, right? It's not needed anymore.
Yes, when they change the default value of this flag, then we could remove the ops file.
So we can then say a CF deployment is FIPS compliant, and all you have to do is to use the right stem cell, and that's it. Nothing more to do. That's perfect.
Yes, I would say so. Okay. So all that's left to do, I will advertise the pull request and remove the try block here. And just today, a new stem cell was released. So with 1.351, cats was green, and with the 360, there was just 1 failure, probably a hiccup. Okay. Yeah. Good. And yeah, this was the key piece that was missing for the TLS termination to work. Yeah, things you always wanted to learn. Okay. Any other business?
No, I think there were no problems regarding with access rights, etc. Right, because we merged last Tuesday. It's a big cleanup.
The cleanup?
Stuff.
No, we should not be affected by that. We have cleaned up our GitHub bot configuration settings. So this should all be fine.
That's good.
Yeah. Good. Just some notes. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Then we are already done. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day or a nice evening. And see you again in 2 weeks.
Good.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.